Shazam 2 from Shazam with Love is a bigger definition of film that has been sent out to die than Disney's Strange Worlds. I mean, at least Strange Worlds had merch. It's not a high bar, I know, but that's my method for finding out if a studio has confidence in their latest product. I call it the tat test. No tat, t-shirts, Funko Pops, action figures, etc. No trust. I mean, it's not like the signs were good. What marketing there was mediocre at best and very hard to spot compared to the marketing for every other large film that's come out in the last few weeks. I mean, several people I spoke to had no idea this film was coming out or even remembered the first one. You've also got the fact that people who are tuned into this sort of thing know that James Gunn is about to reset this whole universe with the Flash movie in a few months, and worst of all, this film simply isn't very good. On paper, it doesn't do anything wrong. A bunch of bored-looking actors, Lucy Liu, Dame Helen Mirren and Rachel Zegler in ridiculous costumes, are after a MacGuffin that's going to destroy the world, and the only thing standing in their way is a way too large bunch of idiots in terrible costumes. And that's the film.
So, what do you want to do now then, Guff? Pub. Pub. Pub.
I mean, I rewatched the original before going into this, and I was struck by how, whilst you'd have a pretty standard superhero origin film, it also had at its core a pretty solid independent film about someone trying to find a family, first biological and then foster, which I really liked. This film doesn't have a B plot. It's barely got an A plot, see above. I'm not entirely sure that it's got a main character either. Now,
called me a bluff old traditionalist.
I always thought that if someone was all over what little marketing I could find is on top of the IMDb/Wikipedia page, then the film should be about them? Nope. I'm pretty sure that with very little effort, I could reduce Shazam from the lead to a sidekick. I mean, he doesn't really drive the plot, he doesn't get a love interest, doesn't get the majority of screen time, and to be honest, I didn't really care for him. I mean, here is a character who's supposed to have the wisdom of Solomon, but instead has the wisdom of someone who finds Mrs. Brown's boys funny. He's also supposed to have the courage of Achilles, but I'd swap that out for the courage of the cowardly dog.
But what do you think about this? Booga booga booga!
Instead, I'd make the case that the lead is Freddie Freeman, who gets the lead actor spot. He drives the plot, struggles with his powers and responsibilities, gets a love interest, gets the majority of the screen time, and actually has an arc. There are also some other Shazammers, but I'm not 100% they all had names and could have all been very easily gotten rid of. I mean, why have a comic relief sentient pen? No, this is a thing that happens, if you could just work out what to do with all of your related leads. The second act drags, the third is overlong, repetitive, nothing you haven't seen before, and everyone just seems bored and desperate to get off set so they can go back to acting for a living. I saw people sleeping, walking out, and considered them lucky because this is a film that could have been put out to streaming for no great loss, as opposed to it being released onto the silver screen, which has incurred a huge loss. But whatever, like I said, this was a film that was sent out to die. Was it messed around by the pandemic? Probably, as there is an attempt at a B-plot, which seems like it was meant to be something when the actors were a few years younger, or maybe got edited out to make room for more unfunny improv. But at what I think was supposed to be the emotional high point of the movie, I was less moved to tears and more vaguely confused. So, yeah, Shazam 2, Wrath of the Indifferent Public, nothing you haven't seen before, doesn't really stand on its own as a fun superhero movie, is a serious downgrade in quality from the first, and doesn't even have the old Marvel fallback of, if you miss this, then nothing that follows will make sense. So, I guess what I'm saying is just skip it. But what do you guys think, and what have you made of the DCEU thus far? Because to me, it's just baffling. But comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.